The Supreme Court just issued its ruling in a major tax case that could have upended our tax system and could have cost the U.S. government hundreds of billions of dollars. So today's ruling says Congress's current interpretation of taxable income is correct. In a 7-2 ruling with the majority opinion written by Justice Kavanaugh, the justices ruled a specific and obscure Trump-era tax is constitutional. Justices Thomas and Gorsuch dissented. So what is this tax and what does it mean for all of us? Well, it's complicated, but I'm going to simplify it as much as possible. So this case stems from a lawsuit being brought by Charlie and Kathleen Moore. They sued the U.S. government over almost $15,000 that they were taxed. The tax was created in 2017 under the Trump administration, and it requires U.S. investors in foreign companies to pay this tax on accumulated foreign profit going back several decades. It's called the Mandatory Repatriation Tax, or MRT. The law says American taxpayers who own more than 10% of foreign corporations, even if the company's earnings have not been given to U.S. shareholders or realized, are subject to this tax. The Moore say they hadn't realized any actual income from their investment in an India-based company, so the $15,000 tax bill they got was bogus. They sued, saying based on the 16th Amendment, Congress took its taxing power too far by considering unrealized income as taxable income. The couple also argued this same 16th Amendment question is going to come up again if President Biden and Democrats are successful in their attempts to create a new tax for the super wealthy. Well, throughout today's ruling, the justices called the Moore's arguments misplaced, implausible, and incorrect. Justice Kavanaugh writes, in any event, the Moore's attempted distinctions of the various taxes fail on their own terms. In the past, the Supreme Court has rarely gotten involved in setting boundaries or rules for what counts as income and what Congress considers taxable. And in today's ruling, the justices kept with that precedent, saying Congress has long taxed shareholders of an entity on the entity's undistributed income, and it did the same with the MRT. This court has long upheld taxes of that kind, and we do the same today with the MRT. This ruling was narrow and specifically points out that it should not be misconstrued to imply that the Supreme Court is giving any kind of green light to Congress to create a so-called wealth tax. Congress, of course, can do that under Article 1 of the Constitution and the 16th Amendment, but whether that particular type of tax on holdings and wealth or net worth or appreciation is consistent with the constitutional text is something the Supreme Court says that they will decide on another day if it ever becomes a reality. So how does this impact all of us, since most of us aren't likely to be invested in these foreign companies? Well, these types of taxes are currently generating billions of dollars in revenue, and that revenue goes to pay for all kinds of things that the government spends money on, including Social Security, our national defense, and to offset our deficit. If the Supreme Court had ruled the other way, that revenue stream would have dried up, and the government would have likely had to issue tens of billions of dollars in refunds to these people.